Naomi with us today and Ms. Özcan, who is going to be making a presentation later after myself. My name is Ayşegül Buğraşar. I'm currently acting as Associate Dean at Koç University Law School, and I'm also directing the Dr. Nusret and Samad Arsel Center for International Business Law. Next slide, please. So I would like to say a few words about our campus. It is situated in Sarıyer, and that is in the north of Istanbul, and it is close to the Bosphorus. It is a very lively campus with lots of social activities as well as sports facilities. On this very slide, you can see our Suna Kıraç Library, Sevgi Gönül Cultural Center, and photos from our common spaces. Next slide, please. Now I would like to begin by giving an overview as to why choosing to study LLM at Koç University would greatly contribute to your career. Well, the first reason is that you will be taught by faculty members who are internationally renowned and who are dedicated to train a new generation of lawyers. I actually strongly recommend you to go on our law school's website to see our faculty members and their backgrounds. They have degrees from reputable universities in the world, and they are leading scholars in their fields. We have, as you will see on our websites, again, full-time and part-time faculty members who are teaching on our LLM program. And you will notice on our website that our part-time lecturers come from different countries, such as the United Kingdom, Spain, and Mexico. Another reason as to why doing an LLM at Koç University is something that you should definitely consider is that we offer an international environment to a qualified group of graduate students. They are provided numerous opportunities throughout their studies to improve their academic skills, as well as their awareness as to the contemporary, comparative, and international topics. We have also a number of academic partnerships with a variety of different institutions, such as the Institute of Advanced Legal Studies in the UK, European Association of International Law, Younger Comparativists Committee of the American Society of Comparative Law, and we are also a member of the Law Schools Global League. This is obviously a non-exhaustive list of the academic partnerships that we have. As for the courses that we offer, I would like to say that they are modular and last usually from 6 to 8 weeks. Our lectures are scheduled on Fridays and Saturdays, which actually permit students who work at the same time as pursuing an LLM to be able to attend these lectures. As a last point, the tuition fee of the program is quite affordable, and we also offer, as we will be discussing in a bit, we also offer merit-based financial opportunities to students in the form of fee waiver. Next slide, please. I would also like to briefly mention our research centers and working groups. Our International Business Law Research Center aims to organize and support influential scholarly events in the field of international business law, defined broadly. So this includes research and events on themes such as taxation, trade and development, or transport and insurance, as you can see on this slide. Our Global Public Law Research Center, in turn, is a research hub that explores the effects of globalization on public law. We also have working groups on salient topics such as liability and risk management, or gender equality and sustainable development, etc. Next slide, please. So in total, Koç University offers 2 tracks, LLM in private law and LLM in public law. If you seek to do an LLM with thesis, that's research-based, you have to take 7 courses in total, and you will have to write a thesis. And if you wish to pursue an LLM that is non-thesis, that will be a taught non-thesis, a taught LLM program, then you will have to take 10 courses and will write a final paper. That is obviously different in nature compared to the thesis. So I would like to share some features of our LLM programs with you. Our obviously, courses are offered in English. Most of our courses are bilingual. Some of our courses are offered in Turkish. As I have previously stated, the courses last usually from 6 to 8 weeks in total, and they are offered on Fridays and Saturdays. And there is the opportunity for our students to be enrolled in elective courses that are offered by MA and MSc programs that are offered at Koç University. This is to showcase our curriculum. On the left-hand side, you see the courses that the students who are pursuing an LLM in public law would need to take. Comparative constitutional law, transnational and European criminal law and procedure, European human rights law, public-private partnerships can be given as examples to the courses that those students will be taking. LLM in private law, students would need to be enrolled in courses such as World Trade Organization law and trade, international and European contract law, global competition law, and dispute resolution. We also offer a number of common elective courses to our students, and just to cite a few of them, I can perhaps state international labor law, international tax law, international transport law, which are all, as you can see, of international scope.
Thank you very much, everyone joining us. I would like to take the floor from here to give more practical information after the academic presentation of our programs. L.L.M admissions, we only have one intake every year, and in our fall semester. Fall semester starts in June, late June in Turkey, and the deadline for applications for LLM programs for this year is 20th of June. But the applications are open now. You can submit your application anytime by this deadline. And meanwhile, in a regular basis, we evaluate the applications and have interviews and written exams. And by the end of June, the second second evaluation period will start. And in July, we will have the final evaluation period for the applicants. And the applications are submitted on an online platform. As you can see here, it's apply.ku.edu.tr. You submit all your documents. You might not be graduated yet, so you might be still in your final year or preparing for your first state exam. You can still apply, you can still submit your documents, and then we will evaluate your courses and will wait for your first state exam results to make the decision. And our evaluation process is very selective, and we have a holistic approach, and we evaluate the applicants on academic merits. And what happens after you submit your online application in our system? We first evaluate, we first have a look at your criteria. If you carry those qualifications that we look for an LLM student, and then we invite you for interviews first and then written exams. Both are conducted via Zoom online. And after you take the interview and written exam, if you pass successfully, then within 2 to 3 weeks, you will get an offer from our graduate school stating your admission status and if you get any scholarships. And enrollment period is early September, and the courses starts very late September. What do you will look for from our LLM candidates? So I amended this for a German candidate. So as you can see, first you need to prove your English proficiency score. So you need to be fluent because the courses are in English, and TOEFL is required for all international students, which is 80 IBT or above. Unfortunately, IELTS is not accepted in Turkish institutions. However, if you have an IELTS score, you can still submit your application and go through the process, the evaluation process. But at the end of the day, you need to submit a TOEFL score because of the national regulatory framework. And you need to prove that you have a 2.75 GPA, which is in Turkish 4-grade system, but which is equal to 8 to 10 German system. So you need to get from between 8 to 10 points for thesis programs. But if you want to follow a non-thesis program, it could be 2.50 GPA, which is equivalent of 6 points and above in Germany. And of course, you need to submit your transcripts, or if you have already an LLB diploma, you need to submit that as well. And you need to prove that you completed the first state exam, and you need to get one of these grades, 8 to 10 for thesis, 6 or above for non-thesis programs. And the tuition fee for both thesis and non-thesis program costs the same, and which is around 11,000 US dollars, and it could be paid in 2 quotas. But we have, as Professor Bura mentioned, we have financial aid programs. We have tuition waiver programs for thesis and non-thesis. With thesis programs, based on successful performance in written exam and interview, you can get up to 100% tuition waiver. But of course, it is very competitive. And for non-thesis program, you can get 20% waiver from the tuition fee. Again, both candidates, if you apply for thesis or non-thesis, you go through the same evaluation. So you need to take the interview and the same written exam. It's up to you. It's like what we would like to do after the LLM. So if you want to pursue a professional career, most of international students follow a non-thesis program. But if you want to do a research afterwards, if you want to have a dream of following a PhD after an LLM, we recommend our students apply for an LLM with thesis program. So these are the red lighted countries are the ones we mostly get our LLM students from. So our Naomi, our alumni Naomi will tell you about how international this classroom is, but I would like to give you the idea. So every year we receive applications from all around the world, but these countries that we receive mostly our LLM and or PhD students from, and you will get this international environment, not only with students, also with professors as well, as Professor Bura mentioned. There is an extra opportunity for international opportunity for our LLM students. So Koç University has over 250 partnerships across the world. This, which means that you can spend 1 or 2 semesters at a partner institution, either in Europe or across the world, funded by Erasmus Plus or Global Exchange programs, funded by the Erasmus Plus program by the European Commission. You can, after completing your classes, then you can spend 1 semester or 2 semesters at a host institution, one of our partner institutions. And you can write your thesis there, you can go there for your research or take extra classes, this is an opportunity that we offer to all Koç University students, to all programs. And we have partnerships, as you can see, in many countries and in many outstanding, very distinguished schools across the world. And these are the things that I would like to give some practical information. But if you might have a lot of questions, both academically or some admission related questions, here is my email address, and we have for international applicants. We have a specific office for international recruitment. My colleague Melissa and her team are there to help you for anything. You can check and email them, and you can check their emails, a website about what kind of opportunities they provide. And for LLM related questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. But I know that you're looking forward to talking to one of your colleagues. Naomi is here to tell about her experience. And I have a lot of questions for Naomi too, but let's hear from her how she went through and how she succeeded in LLM, how she felt completing an LLM at Koç University. Thank you very much.
Hi, thank you, Esra, for the introduction. And I will say hi to all of you from Germany. So I'm back to Germany right now, not staying in Turkey, unfortunately. But yeah, I will tell a little bit about my experience from the beginning. So for me, I knew already that I wanted to do an LLM abroad after my first state exam. I think this is the typical way to do after the hard studying time in Germany. You want to see something else and different culture, different experience, but also have the law point with it. So I took part in an event in Munich, and there I met Ezra and Koç University, and I fell in love with the campus and everything. It was so beautiful. And for me, I've never been in Turkey before, and especially not to Istanbul. And I wanted to experience something very different to what we know all around here, going on holidays, maybe to Spain or Italy. So I decided to give it a try and applied for Koç University. And the whole application process, it was really nice. So it was super quick, and you're really good guided with all the emails and everything. So I felt really good guided, and I felt that it's not that hard to apply. So everything was really organized, and it was nice. So as I knew I will go to Koç University end of September, I started to look up for some flats to live there. Of course, Istanbul is a really, really big city, so you have to think about where you will stay. So it's typical that you have around 2 hours to come to university in the morning when you live on the Asian side of Istanbul. So I decided to stay near the university, and it was good, especially for the beginning when you come from every city of Germany. It's not relatable to Turkey or Istanbul in specific. So it was good to have kind of short ways to university. And I enjoyed that the classes took place on Fridays and Saturdays. So you have a lot of time to enjoy the city and go out and do something else and do everything you want to do in this 1 year where you're abroad. And it was really nice for me. So about university in specific, as I said, I love the campus. Unfortunately, when I started studying in the second semester, the whole COVID situation occurred. So unfortunately, we had a lot of online classes, but it was really nice. So I stayed in Turkey and enjoyed it as well. And it was no problem with online classes. Koç University is really flexible when it comes to this. So I felt that there's really no problem to hold the classes online. Regard to all the students at the LL.M program, so I think most of them live off campus because we're all master students. So I think most people on campus are bachelor degree students. But it was really nice. You can get in touch with a lot of different people. Of course, you have a lot of Turkish speaking and Turkish citizens in your class. For them, it's a typical master degree for law. But it's so nice because they're really used to live in Istanbul. So when you meet them, you can stick together and enjoy the city and see the city in a different way, where you will never have the chance when you're not living there. And of course, we had really big variety of students from other nationalities, such as from Afghanistan, Pakistan, or of course from Germany, as I was, and we had one more from Germany. And it felt so nice to be in a place and talk with people about law that are from such different places, not only European places or American places. It was a really nice experience, especially when it comes to talking about law and law systems and everything, and all the international participations. It felt great to enjoy this. And I think that's more or less to sum up my experience from 1 year at Koç University.
Thank you, Naomi. So could you tell me how you decided to follow a non-thesis program? Was it your first intention, or what was the idea afterwards?
I thought about doing the with thesis program because I like to write things and I wanted to do more research. But I knew that I have to do the second state exam in Germany as well. And I decided 1 year is enough break to don't forget everything you learned from German law. So it was better for me to do 1 year abroad and then go back to German law. And that's more or less the reason why I did just 1 year.
That's good. We receive a lot of questions from German students about when to do an LLM. This is a big question for all of them because they either have the gap between first and second state exam or after the second exam. What would you recommend to them?
So I think there is no right or wrong in this question. I think it's a more personal question for you. For me, it was the best to do it after the first exam because you have this nice break and you're not that much older than all the other students when you go abroad after the first state exam. But of course, I think the problem or the question for most of them is you have 1 year where you don't study German law and it's harder to come back. Of course, I have to say it is like this. It's really hard to come back and do just German law again, and you have to study hard for the second exam. But I think the problem after the second one, all your friends are finished and start working, and this is not the time you decide to go away and study again. So I think for me, and in general, I think after the first exam, it's better.
Great. And how about your classmates? What did they practice law in Turkey? What did they do, like both international or Turkish students? Did you learn from them? How was your experience?
Yeah, I was surprised to see that most of the Turkish students already worked in a law firm, because in Germany you can do it without a second state exam. But it felt nice to talk with them about their experience, especially when it comes to work as a lawyer in Turkey as well. And all the others, they studied law, I think, in their home countries. And there were a few that studied something different, some more political things. And this was really interesting too, to hear about them. There was one guy from the US and he studied political science, I think. And it was really interesting to talk with him and how he sees all these law classes that we took. And yeah, it's a different kind of thinking when you didn't study law at first.
Very nice. And what do you think you brought from Germany when studying LL.M here, and what you took from Turkey to Germany after you completed the program?
So I think in general, the most shocking moment for me as a German was the kind of flexibility you have in a country like Turkey. And flexibility in a good and a bad way, of course. So when you want to go to university and you think like the bus will come at, I don't know, 7:30, and the bus will not come at 7:30, maybe the bus will come at 7:40 or 50. So, but you stay there and you wait. And in the beginning, you're super confused and you're stressed and think like, oh my God, I'm going to be late. And then you realize, okay, it's not that big of a deal to be late, or it's not that big of a deal to, I don't know, say, yeah, the bus was late, everything. So everybody knows about the problems and everybody's fine with it. And especially when it comes to your exams at Koç University, when you have presentations or writing essays and everything, it's always nice to have a talk with your professor. They're always open for you and for, I don't know, individual problems you have. You stay in touch with the professor so close. And this was something I was not used to have in Germany, because we study at big universities and there's not really this close contact with your professor. And I really loved it. And it was nice to be kind of a class with your professor, and it's not just students and the professor on two different sides. So that was something I really enjoyed. And at the beginning, of course, it was some kind of, I don't know, I was not used to it, just saying like this, but I enjoyed it so much. And I think this helped me to come back to Germany and felt like, okay, I can just ask people that are like above me or ask my professors here when I have a question. And it's nice to see that this conversation is so like one-on-one.
Great. Professor Burak, do we have any questions? It's kind of an interview with Naomi, but it's very wonderful to hear from her.
Perhaps I might ask Naomi if she's heard any different experiences from her colleagues in Germany who've studied in other countries. and whether she had the opportunity to compare her experience in Turkey to those other people's experiences in other countries. I don't know whether you have such information, but if you do, could you please share that with us?
Unfortunately, I don't have, because in my second state exam classes, I'm the only one with an LLM degree. So I would like to know the experiences from people that studied on different places. But I have to say, when it comes to job interviews or interviews for, I don't know, something else regarding to law, the people are always really interested and asking me why I did my LLM degree in Turkey, especially in Istanbul, because it's not really usual, and this makes the people are really interested in. And I think this is a really good point, like pro point for everyone, that you're not like the usual LLM degree student from, I don't know, the US or in Europe. So it's interesting for them, and it's nice to see that it's not the usual way.
Thank you.
Great. We have also participants. If you have any questions, you can type your question in the chat box. You can either write in German or Turkish or in English. We're happy to translate that. And you can direct your questions to any of us. We're happy to answer your questions.
Maybe one thing to fill in.
Sure.
When you're not speaking Turkish and come to Turkey, it can be difficult at the beginning, not at university places, but when you're living not on campus, sometimes it's hard. So for me, it was really important to learn some Turkish, and I took classes at university as well. So it was really nice and no problem to just go to Turkish classes there. And I really enjoyed it, and I can recommend this as well for everyone who's not German Turkish or can't speak Turkish that well.
And let's see if our participant has a question. Meanwhile, I can ask you another question. Which topic did it attract the most? Yeah, like which classes you find yourself, okay, this is the area of research I really want to follow, and I didn't have any interest, but after the LLM, I now think that this is very interesting. Which topic?
For me, it was IP law. I've never thought about doing something with intellectual property law at the beginning, because I was more going to do some public law stuff, and I wanted to do more criminal law, and I enjoyed criminal law classes, of course. But I applied for IP law just to fill in my 10 courses, to be honest. And I enjoyed this class so much, and I loved IP law. So that's why I decided to maybe work as a lawyer for IP law in Germany. So this was something that gave me the going to do this. And yeah, this was surprising for me as well.
Very interesting to hear. Wonderful. Professor Burak, any other questions from you?
Not really at this stage. I mean, it's really nice to hear that you had such a wonderful experience in Istanbul, in Turkey. And I had the opportunity to observe that you had many colleagues with whom you got along quite well during your time in Istanbul. So you met a lot of people from different countries. You had colleagues from very different countries, as far as I remember. So I'm sure you learned a lot from each other. So what was the highlight for you during your LLM in terms of, not in terms of courses, but in terms of the social life that you had here, because that matters as well?
It's hard to say just one real good highlight, because there were a lot of highlights during the time in Turkey, because you can, every time you go out in this city, you will experience something new and met new people. I have to say that friends that I met at Koç University, I'm still in touch with them. And every time when I come back to Turkey, I meet up with them and we're talking about whatever is going on right now, because most of them are still in Turkey. And yeah, I think this is a really big highlight, that I met friends that I'm still friends with until now. And yeah, doing really nice things with them, go out in the evening or during day, enjoy the city. This is so much highlights. I can't say what is best, because the city is it's crazy. You can do everything you can imagine.
Indeed. Thank you.
Thank you so much.